Right, what's up, guys, and welcome back to All United PNG. My name is Nims, and like always, we're here to chat all things Manchester United. So, how's everyone doing? How's y'all's week been? We've got a fair bit of transfer news to talk about. Nothing important, nothing to get too excited about, but just a few little headlines that have been popping up during the week, and I just thought we could chat about them. Not really rumors of sorts, but just a bit more news on past players that have been linked to us, and also some news on Angel Gomes, which I've been seeing, reading a lot in the last couple of days. But anyway, let's get into it, eh? So, first up, obviously, we've got Jadon Sancho, because it wouldn't be transfer news if we didn't have just Jadon Sancho on here. So, alrighty, we've got Sancho news first up, and this one's an interesting one because there's been a recent quote from Dimitrov Berbatov that's come out, and he's sort of advised Jadon Sancho to stay at Dortmund, essentially for another season or so before he makes his switch to the Premier League, or he goes out of Germany. Considering Berbatov himself played in the German league before moving over to England, you know, he sort of knows a little bit about what he's talking about, and he's also already got that experience and that knowledge. So he's pretty much already done what Sancho is doing in the sense of moving from the Bundesliga to the Premier League and sort of making that transition. But it's sort of not something you'd expect sort of a former United player or sort of a legend to come out and sort of put dent in our hope of signing a very bright prospect. Not a prospect, a very good player. So Bebita just goes on to say that he still believes that Jadon Sancho should continue playing in the Bundesliga. Um, he goes on to say, I don't know if it's the right time for him to go on to Manchester United. As I mentioned before, my doubts are here because at United there's Anthony Martial, Marcus Rashford, and Daniel James. Bevatar feels that Sancho should focus on his development for at least one more season when deciding where he should play next season. Alright, and he suggests that he should stay at Dortmund for another year. So Bevatar's concerns or what he feels like, one of the things at why he feels Sancho should stay at United for another season is essentially just the number of players that are already in that can already occupy that position. But I don't think having Martial, Rashford, and James would sort of stop Sancho from getting game time at all. I think Sancho walks straight into the first team. I think he makes that right winger spot his, and I think there'll be other players that'll be fighting to get their spot back. But that's interesting to hear Berbatov come out and sort of advise Sancho to stay at Dortmund for another season. Um, this one was from the MEN. There was an interview by Betfair, I think it was. However, the squad does need strengthening, and wherever we can strengthen, if it is in midfield, defense, or in front, I think we should take the opportunity and do so. And especially if it's if we have the choice of strengthening with Jadon Sancho, I think it's a no-brainer. We should definitely go for him. Another thing, I don't think that Champions League football will affect or put a dent in our hopes of signing the player. I think the player is already wanting to come to Manchester United, and he knows that Champions League football may not be on the cards. So that's a decision the player is okay with, and I mean that he's made. So that sounds good. And I guess we can just wait till everything gets back to normal. I think football will be returning soon. There were a few dates for the Bundesliga, Liga 1 and the Premier League, so we'll hopefully be able to see some football matches back on the telly again. There was also talks of United and Spurs potentially being one of the first games to be played. So if that is true and if that does go ahead, I'll be keen to watch the lads as soon as possible. So I'm looking forward to that. Righto, moving on. we've got some more Saul Niguez news now. The Spanish media have come out again, and I think if you have a look on my Twitter, I posted a tweet about it earlier today, and it was just one of the Spanish media outlets come out and saying that United are very close in signing Saul Niguez for a reported 70 million euros. It also says that Atletico are willing to accept this lower fee due to the current financial crisis that the pandemic sort of has brought upon them. Now that's great. That's great news. However, this is also the same Spanish outlet that was talking about Moussa Dembele signing for Manchester United, which I felt was a bit fishy. There was also an article by the BBC as well, but they were just going off what the Spanish media was talking about, so we can't be too sure just yet on the Saul Niguez thing and the Dembele thing. But Saul Niguez has been someone United have been chasing, and he would be a perfect fit. He would complement both our attacking midfielders in our new midfield three. If we can get him. But Saul Niguez currently has a release clause of 42 million euros. So that's a lot. But as I said earlier, Atleti are willing to accept a lower fee of around 70 mil for the player. So I mean, if Saul can come through, then that'll be great news for us, especially after reading reports that Thomas Partey is, really keen on a move to Arsenal. So I mean, if United can get the Saul Niguez deal done, whenever that is, that would be amazing. All right, now lastly, we got Angel Gomes on the cards. Now, Angel Gomes, he's been a player as all United fans would know. He's come through the academy. He's one of our own homegrown players. He's such an exciting prospect as well. However, Angel has been given his opportunity. He's been given his opportunity to show everyone what he's got to prove to the manager and the coaching staff. However, he had a few games, but he was involved in, and his involvements weren't outstanding-ish. So it was sort of just at an average level, and his contract talks as well, and really kicking back the contracts United had offered him, really did put a dent or really halted his playing time, I would imagine. But there's talks that the player declined a few contract offers from United, and he's just really looking for some first team playing time, and apparently United have sort of told him that that's something that he won't be getting much of at United, and this is all from TalkSport. So it's in a hard place, I would say for Angel, because I really believe that he is a Manchester United player and he loves the club, and I honestly want to believe that he wants to stay at the club. However, there's a lot of hardball going on, and he's been offered something like 30,000 euros. But I think that the player's just not interested in it. It's just a game time that he's really looking at, and at the minute, I think there are a lot of players ahead of him in that position. Also, furthermore, the Mirror is reporting that he signed up with a new super agent, Pini Zahari. So this agent, he'd probably be, if not above the level of Mino Raiola and those lads, or he may have been before these guys. So this guy, Pini Zahari, is he isn't a new name on the block. He's been around for a long time. He's worked as an agent for a long time, and he's played some key roles in establishing that Chelsea team in the early 2000s. So there's no surprise that Chelsea are one of the names that were thrown in, or linking Angel to. So it'll be really interesting to see if a move does happen. But I really hope that Angel stays at Man United and really, just fights for his spot. Fights for himself. Really, I just don't want the player. I just don't want the player to just be pushed away, and we could maybe even have another Pogba debacle on our hands, and that would be a waste of time. You're still getting over that Pogba debacle, and which it's just something that the club doesn't need. But in saying so, his player's been linked with a move to Chelsea, and I would not want him to go to any of our rivals in the top six. If he was to go to another club other than United, I would honestly say I want him to play abroad. I don't want him to. I don't want to see him playing at any other EPL teams, just because he's such a great talent. And it's we're just letting someone like this go is just poor. Also, it would be difficult for him to stake a place in the Chelsea first team, even because he's got other players. There are other players in the Chelsea squad that are, before him that are slightly better than him. With the likes of Mason Mount, plays in the same position. So it would be difficult as well. Fighting it will be a challenge as well. Trying to sort of fight for a spot in the first team at Chelsea. Now, a strange thing about this one is that Angel and Jadon Sancho both played in the under-17 England team. I think it was a FIFA World Cup or an international tournament or that big proportion. But and in that game, the funny thing was I think Angel captained that team and Jadon Sancho also played in there. And he was sort of like an average player. And right now, one is going for 100 mil on the transfer market, and the other, still trying to fight for a spot or find his place, in a big European club. But report, there's a lot of fans saying that things didn't really go Angel's way, decision wise, and performances didn't really help him in his development within his key years of his career. So it's just unfortunate that bad decisions and playing time just didn't really help with molding the player that we all know Angel can be. Some fans will compare why don't we keep Angel and let Andreas Pereira or Jesse Lingard go? Why don't we keep all three of them and give them a chance as we're doing with the other two? But there are a lot of things that will come into play. With the economical side of things. Players are on contracts, they're earning money, so they need to be working, they need to be performing, they need to be earning their pay. So yeah, that's a tough one, and you can't say that Ollie doesn't like youngsters, or Ollie doesn't like playing the youth, because Ollie has one of the best Premier League records for playing youngsters in the EPL. So that's not an argument there. I just feel that the contract side of things really played a big part in him not getting any minutes. Because it was the same thing with Brandon Williams, Mason Greenwood, and even Tahith Chong as well. Tahith was the most, apart from Angel, they were sort of in a stalemate until I think it was up to that Wolves game away. He had a good run. He had some playing time. And I think it was just all down to Angel or Tahith just signing their contracts, really, and then just committing their future and then just working hard after that. But it's a different sort of thing with Angel, and I really wish the player signs a new contract, or the club offers him more money, just to keep him around and let him fight for his spot, because this guy is pure talent, and I watched some of his highlights, and he's just he is a midfield maestro, and I'd love to see him, in the future at United, possibly becoming one of our greats. So, yeah. All right, everybody. That was it. That was your transfer talk for today. Don't forget to like the video, comment if you have anything to discuss, your thoughts, whatever I'd like to know. So drop them in the comments below. Don't forget to like the channel, yo. And don't forget to subscribe. Alright, I've been Nims, and this is All United PNG.